What's going on, guys? I'm the Walrus Jedi, and in today's video, I will be talking, the conclusion of my movie rewatch. This is the last movie of the original trilogy, Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. I'm going to be honest, this video will be me just gushing about how much I liked this movie, as I did watch it in the theaters a month ago when they released it back in the theaters. So, obviously, there will be spoilers for Return of the Jedi in this video, if you've been warned. If you like this video, then please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. For more Star Wars videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And thank you. And now back to the Return of the Jedi. What I liked. The plan to save Han, while very convoluted and messy, is nonetheless fun to watch unfold. Jabba's palace is such a great location, and the puppet of Jabba in this movie is the best the character has ever looked and felt. It's probably because they probably put a lot of effort when they made that puppet, and it looks good. I don't think it's limited, he can't slither around and stuff like that, but all Jabba really does is sit around. So I don't think that's the end of the world. Plus, I think it looks good. The CGI one is okay sometimes, but it's the giant puppet really adds to it. The Sarlacc pit stuff was great, and we get to see Luke's green lightsaber for the first time here. The Sarlacc is a cool-looking creature, and Jabba probably uses it as a garbage for, people that he just wants gone. So, yeah, I think it works for that, because it's like, well, you feed the Sarlacc, plus Jabba gets rid of people he doesn't want. A win-win. I guess it's not a win for whoever's going in the pit, but the Rancor fight is just fun to see Luke outsmart this beast. As a kid, I found the Rancor to be pretty scary. Not like I couldn't watch the movie, but it's like, yeah, it was a little scary. And I enjoyed it when Luke, threw the rock at the switch and the door closed on the Rancor. It's a classic scene in this movie. Luke going back to Dagobah to complete his training, or I guess, just essentially he kept his promise. He returned, but unfortunately Yoda, not Yoga. He's unfortunately sick and old, and he dies. A shame, but that happens when you get old. You don't have all the time in the world. And the conversation between the two and the confirmation that, Darth Vader is Luke's father is pretty good. And when he says, that there's another Skywalker, basically that's his very last words. So that's pretty good. And he also said, he'll be the last of the Jedi when Yoda dies, and to pass on what he has learned. The appearance of Obi-Wan and his conversation with Luke, where he tells Luke that about, Leia being his sister, is pretty good. Luke in this movie is really awesome. This is where he is at his greatest and most interesting, at least in the movies. And yes, that includes the sequels. Because, if you didn't know, I'm not a big fan of the way Luke was treated in the sequel trilogy. So I will just leave it at that. Every scene with Darth Vader is great, obviously. I especially like the scene on Endor when Luke turns himself in, and, they both kind of, they talk, and they both acknowledge each other as family. Vader says son, Luke says father. The Emperor, while he doesn't really do a whole lot, he just oozes evil and is just really fun and awesome to watch. I like this character. He's a really good one. The Battle of Endor, in the space part, is probably the best space battle in Star Wars. I really like the space battle in Rogue One, over Scarif. I like that one. That one, and I guess you have the Battle of Coruscant, So I mean, Star Wars has some good ones. I wouldn't be opposed if one of these Star Wars movies, if they ever made they put in like a really, really, really good space battle. Yeah, and that was like the focus of the movie, is a space battle. That would be pretty cool. So the duel on the Death Star is one of the best. It's my favorite duel of the original trilogy because I think it's the best. Um, Luke in Empire, he's just whacking around. He's not doing too good. And the Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in A New Hope. I mean, it was cool because it was the first one, but again, that wasn't necessarily the first one I ever experienced. So it's not that special to me because I think it's probably one of the weakest. Because you just ignore the sequel trilogy lightsabers because they're just swinging around baseball bats. That's all I will say on that. My favorite sound from this movie would probably be the speeder bikes on Endor. That is such a great scene, and the standout music is the Emperor's theme. Oh, it's really good. And it sets the tone for him. Now, what I didn't like for Return of the Jedi, but if I had to pick something, then it would be the Ewoks. I'm not saying they're awful, garbage, or what. I'm just saying they're not my favorite aspect of this movie. But still, I don't mind that stuff, Again, I love this movie for the Luke, Vader, Emperor stuff. That's probably why this movie's my favorite. Plus, you got Jabba the Hutt. I've always been a big fan of aliens, creatures in Star Wars. So, yeah, Rancor, the Tatooine stuff I really like. So, all in all, Endor is the weakest part of the movie, but it's still fun. I like Han Solo, and he does some cool stuff in there. It's a little, there's some comedic moments and stuff like that. But, yeah, so overall, it doesn't bug me. This is my favorite of the original trilogy. So, it's probably second or third of the Star Wars movies. I'd have to sit and think about it, but yeah. Overall, I would give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Maybe a 9. I don't know, depending on the day. I don't know, maybe a 9. It's really good. Really, of course, I saw it in the theater. It's a bucket list item for me. I would very much like to see more Star Wars movies on the big screen. New and old. What did you think of this movie? Did you see it when they re-released it last month? Which is your favorite of the original trilogy? You can tell me the answers to these questions in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, thank you very much.